what will happen this Virgo season, building up from years prior, maybe even building up from 2020, Pluto being a placeholder of the crown isn't given. The crown is, the journey towards the crown could be called the endless quest itself with respects to the path. And within that endless quest, respectively, and the predecessors waiting there on the other side and coming back to this side, that is the grace of the new quest that we have right now. Because the Virgo season, that energy is being applied to one of your houses. And as that energy is being applied to one of your houses, how are you being practical with the change of your sexual energies? Because Earth is about the body and change. There's water there. Mutable signs could recognize all the other elements within change, respectively, and their keynote with other mutable signs is their challenge is to build with change, and Libra being a unique exception because there's a unique gate about change in Libra. And then just everyone has a different pivot mechanism to change itself. So how will this Virgo season play out, like for the next 30 days or for the next 21 days? And within those 30 to 21 days, and I say 21 days because it takes, the moon will kickstart, respectively, like around, 10 days after the new sun, respectively, give or take, obviously. And within that, the starting of the new moon is introducing the final moon phase of the first moon cycle, because there's 2 moon cycles, Aries through Virgo. We're concluding the first moon cycle. We're wrapping it up. We're concluding it. We're getting ready to see the new educational streamline path, concluding the first moon cycle. So this new moon is about concluding what we learned from Aries to Virgo, respectively, and what we learned, it has a potential to blossom and become a unique tool, an instrument, or something of a quote-unquote weapon, end quote, metaphorically. And we could use that weapon that we formed from the first moon cycle, and the first moon cycle was pressured from all the other planetary aspects. We could use that new tool or instrument for the next 6-month moon cycle, Libra to Pisces. So within that moon cycle, the conclusion of the first moon cycle was Virgo. So that's why there's a lot of natural analytical energies on how we have to conclude things, how we have to tidy up things, how we have to organize things, and how the physiological human body is affected from all of that, and seeing how the nervous energies could come about, because there's a rush of energies in between the concluding first moon cycle, because there's 2 6-month moon cycles. The first 6-month moon cycle, Aries through Virgo. The second moon cycle is Libra through Pisces. And within those moon cycles, there's a rush of energy, respectively, within how we're concluding the first moon cycle, and we're transitioning to the next moon cycle. And as we're doing that, there's a whole diagnostic educational outline plan from just how we're doing a particular transitional bridge within the esoteric seasonal energies of things. So how will this Virgo season play out? It's going to play out how it always does. We're going to and I'm not demonizing this at all. We're going to look after ourselves, and we're going to see where we fit in and where we're placed by just the bigger picture of things, where we're placed based on our quote-unquote SAT scores, end quote. And it doesn't have to be on a surface level, but just where we placed within our scores. That's going to kind of see where we're at in our grade level, and where we're at in our grade level, we're going to react to that. We're going to react to the mutable Earth and how we adapt as a being, because Virgos are really adaptable with the surface level life, because it's an Earth sign, and all mutable signs are just casually adaptable, right? So within that within that mutable earth, we're gonna see how how we feel about where we're placed within just how the system is as of right now, how it's been, you know, when like, you know, because the last 300 years it was a particular prominent system of, you know, kind of just like establishing how the human works with society. And for some reason that 300-year phase, it's coming to a very particular transition, and as it's doing that, now Virgo is kind of seeing how like what works for me, obviously, type of shit. And what works for me, I'm gonna fucking do all these like vision board type of shit. I'm gonna do all this journaling type of shit. I'm gonna research all this fucking like, you know, all these events type of shit, and I'm gonna expand my knowledge type of shit. And as I'm doing that, I'm like, you know, naturally Virgos are like a very unique social butterfly, because they have the ability to organize groups of people. And as they're organizing their groups of people, you could naturally find your purpose, if you're a higher octave Virgo, by just seeking counsel from the Virgo. Because the Virgo is also like something of like, it's potentially like a doctor too, you know, because it's diagnosing the symptoms of just your holistic state of being, or it's diagnosing the symptoms of where you fall into the surface level system, right? So within that, we're applying that mutable energy of just concluding the first moon cycle, and we're getting the results of concluding the first moon cycle. And as we're getting the results of how we kind of we're reacting from Aries to Virgo, those reactions from the last 6 months, those are the results of what we're emotionally ready for. And we underestimate what we're emotionally ready for, because that has an impact on like low-key like Mars affairs, because all the signs and all the planets, they all connect with each other, obviously, in very, very niche ways. They're all applicable to each other, and as they combust together, they have unique results. Because like, no matter what sun season we're in, there's always going to be like some type of like micro Mars dynamic of you, and then a unique collective Mars dynamic wherever the collective Mars is within the season of 2024. Because within the season of the 2024, the planets are the collective chakras. And as the planets are the collective chakras, those collective chakras are making the weather in a unique way, and they're pulling the collective chakras energetically for us to like have a quote unquote no choice, end quote, for us to pay attention what we're going to pay attention to. Like, you know, when we wake up, there's a part of us that's paying attention to the sun, you know, but we more or less know it. There's a part of us that's paying attention to us breathing, but we more or less know it. You know, there's a part of us paying attention to gravity, but we more or less know it. So that's the thing I'm talking about. Those, you know, those aspects of the celestial beings, they're low-key governing like the weather and shit like that. And as they're governing the weather, we're just kind of like, no condescending here, but we're on an entry level to more or less work with these dormant powers. And if we want to polarize that and demonize these powers however the fuck we will, that's on you, you know. That's the lack of guidance type of shit. So within that lack of guidance type of shit, it doesn't have to, like, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. We don't have to have a lack of information, but we could, you know. And that lack of information is we could be missing out on accumulating an energetic opportunity, most respectively, of just having a very unique, proper definition of what energetic sovereignty is, right, predecessors? So and I know and I know how people could respond like, quote unquote, like who cares about that, end quote. But that's the thing. It's like you're like people could like people could misplace that, you know, that anendo, if I use that word right. They can misplace that meaning there is some things to like care about, respectively, you know. And there's things obviously that we could just that we could regurgitate for whatever reason, you know, just because we're just in a regurgitating unconscious stream of being, right? So us digesting and our sun aspecting to the collective character adaptation of mutable Earth Virgo, that's going to play out in one of your 12 houses. And as that plays out in one of your 12 houses, it's going to apply that energy of digesting that mutable Earth within one of your 12 houses. And that's going to and on the applying it to the feminine body, because the feminine body is I feel like it's also like psychic too. It's holding like the quote-unquote psychic energies, end quote, because whatever's holding the psychic energies, it's quote-unquote feminine related, because it's the womb and the carrier of that, right? And I don't know why I don't like forcing things either, because I just don't like, there's a part of the intuition that doesn't like forcing things, because I don't want to squeeze out, like, you know, Virgo through the houses. But 5th house Virgo, that's like creatively using mutable Earth energy to be very like be even something like technical, be something of an engineer, be something of a mechanic, be something of a carpenter, you know. That's what 5th house Virgo is saying to me. 6th house Virgo, that's like a particular super exaltation, and that would be Aries 1st house. And the Aries 1st house, I do that. I say Aries 1st house is like the super experiment of consciousness, because that is like, for there to just be a human being in general, and that human being just to be a thing in general, that's a low-key underestimated miracle, because the human is capable of all this shit. So 6th house Virgo, that's like a unique that's a unique like synergy enhancement, respectively, of mutable Earth. And that mutable Earth is it's gonna neatly pair with the 6th house, so it's gonna be natural. You're gonna already apply mutable Earth energies into the 6th house. So it's like, you know, the Aries rising, that's like, it's a very unique sign, you know. And then 7th house, mutable Earth in 7th house. And 7th house is like low-key, it's the restarting of the movie. It's like Libras could find joy in the work that they do, you know. Saturn is exalted in Libra, and within Saturn exalted, there's like, you know, there could be very particular tests and challenges of just like how the reality could kind of assess you in like, you know, something of a strict way, but then you get the benefits of that or something like that. So I had explained, like, I like in the last video I lost, like I went in order from 1st through the 7th house, and then it got cut off. And I know this one's incomplete, you know, because I'm not trying to rush it or force it, you know. So Virgo through the 8th house, that would be wow, applying processing mutable Earth energy into dynamics of, you know, tantric lifestyles, because 8th house is also very tantric, and from that tantric you're creating esoteric creations, and those esoteric creations, it's heavy responsibility of life transformation and death, respectively. And from that life transformation and death, you could be your 8th house energies could be receiving the mutable Earth energies, and it could be like bringing new life. You could be some type of like geneticist, some type of scientist, science experimentalist. You could be some type of like dissector, you know, of just like raw fucking, like, even like, you know, quote unquote kink ass shit, end quote, you know, respectively. Virgo in the 9th house, the mutable Earth energy of the sun, of the collective society character processing mechanism, is being applied in the 9th house. You know, having like just living the path of, you know, the 8th, 9th house being very very ritualistic, 9th house being very expansive, 9th house being very, you know, going for the journey. Ninth house being very Olympic-like. Ninth house being very, you know, making something of a legacy like. Ninth house being something of like, also like, you know, or organizer of a creed like setting, you know, because it's like a low-key energy team building, you know, factor. So having like the team building orientation, the rebuilding energies of just processing the collective character of Virgo. So just kind of like making like a table respectively of just kind of like how there could be like a team of healers or a team of gamers, or just kind of just getting like a very unique team together, you know. And yeah, and obviously this is like very raw and intuitive. I know how it could sound, you know. And I think like, yeah, I think in the video I lost, I think I third house Virgo, I think I said something of like a warrior, you know, something of like a hunter, something, because like it's like the mutable earth is applied to, you know, communicating those tools and those the toolkit to the outer world. And me being a Leo rising, it's kind of like it's kind of, I'm just kind of seeing like how like how things kind of have to be built from like a structured like diagram type of shit. And without that structured diagram, you know, there could be like quote unquote holes in the fucking boat, end quote. So that's what Leo risings have to, and excuse me for this being out of order, you know. And then let's see, 12th house Virgo. Wow. Mutable earth energies being applied and distributed, and, you know, being having an effect in, you know, areas of your just of your dream life, you know. Like we're standing on our dream, the feet, you know, the 12th house. Like we are the dream, and for us to be the dream, it needs to like stand on something. And for that to stand on something, it's standing on mutable earth energies, and its fantasy is it's receiving energies of how the health industry is just changing drastically, and new medicine is being like discovered, new innovative med bed technologies are being discovered, and that could be applied. And obviously that could be like more or less, you know, obviously within the other aspects, the houses, the zodiacs, and the planets, it could be restricted or non-restricted. 11th house Virgo, you know, mutable earth energies of the sun, of the collective society character being applied to your 11th house. The collective society character of Virgo is being applied to your 11th house. So the mutable earth energy of the sun, your 11th house is digesting that in something of a way where it's also like it's a unique. I look at Aquarius as or the 11th house as kind of like, you know, it's kind of like before a war, and then it's a unique future war, and then it's the conclusion of the war. Like for some reason I look at Aquarius as like a low-key, like it's an advanced war for some reason. I don't know why I look at Aquarius like that. Just because like it's the technology is being, you know, it's being fixulated and from different constructs of air, and the air is being distilled as it's being fixulated. And as the air is being distilled and fixulated in the fixed air sign, then all of the technology is coming forth, and how we're using all of that technology that's coming forth. Our connection to that technology is the 11th house. Our connection to the 11th house is our connection to the ancient wars. And you have your own dream time, and you haven't experienced what I dreamt, most respectively. And I'm not trying to compare shit, but like there has been like quote unquote wars in the past, obviously 11th house type shit. And within 11th house, within the mutable earth being applied in the 11th house. Mutable earth energies are, you know, kind of like leading you to change your way of seeing how your physiological state is in evolution and how it's recovering from different wars from different times, you know, because I look at the 11th house of like, where have we been within the past road of the quote unquote gods, end quote, because the 11th house is between Cap and Pisces, and that betweenness of Cap and Pisces, that's the transit of, you know, how like Capricorn, everything is backwards. Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn. Capricorn is the post-war. Aquarius is like this innovative interplay of war energies, but it doesn't have to be war, it could be a dance. And then Pisces is like kind of like the transit of the divine feminine to the divine masculine, and that creating a whole different spiritual realm of water, and us kind of going in and out of that. And then all of the signs, they kind of relate with each other as their energetic symbolizers go into each other's houses and constellations, and they kind of inform each other how everything is connected, right? And I should have just started from the first house, second house, third house, fourth house. Fourth house, Virgo, that would be, let's see. Fourth house, Virgo, that would be, would that be Taurus rising? Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. No, that would be Gemini rising. So, Gemini, Taurus, oh wait, Gemini, sorry. Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Yeah, Virgo, fourth house, Gemini rising. Ooh, so Gemini rising, that's like the embodiment of pretty much of kind of like, you know, the distributor of the message, the media messenger, you know, or just kind of the keeper of like occultist traditions, you know, really keeping the safety net on the occult traditions. Gemini rising, you know, being the embodiment of the mysteries. So fourth house Virgo would be like the embodiment of those mysteries. They're filtering out through your home life and your feminine lineage, because the fourth house is the motherly lineage, most respectively, the motherly bloodline, most respectively. So within that, you're applying homeopathic, you know, traditions and attitudes and aspects to that mother bloodline lineage. And how I did the Virgo through the houses, I dialed in like what the first house was, and it's better to do it that way, because then you could know, like, you know, before I do Virgo through the houses, I should have just did like what the first house was, so you could get a feel of like what they're embodying as far as what sign is in the first house, and then you could see how it's playing out after you know what the first house is. So I should have done that, you know, earlier. But so Virgo first house, just being the embodiment of like a warrior queen, you know, being the embodiment of, and I feel like Virgo and Sag, they have like, you know, very subtle connections. All the mutable signs do, but the Virgo rising is like, you know, it's like, it's low-key a warrior queen. It knows the solutions to the diseases, right? It is the solution itself. It is that homeopathic solution. First house Virgo, second house Virgo, it's kind of like, it's paradoxically the assistant and the ruler, because Leo rising, it's the embodiment of a unique type of like spiritual air, respectively. And Leo's sun, moon, or rising, they're kind of bringing the energy of just digesting and processing, you know, just kind of digesting and processing what the collective sun's attitude and weather is on day-to-day basis, you know. It's good at filtering what the sun's doing. It's good at filtering the sun's energies. It's good at filtering and bringing forth the energy of the sun. First house Leo, second house Virgo, and as the first house Leo, second house Virgo, that mutable earth energy is playing into the second house in such a way where we're just kind of seeing, you know, the first house Leo is like it's observing as like the second house is low-key like the partner program to the first house, right? Because the first house is the embodiment and the second house is kind of like the daughter, quote unquote, amen, right? What's hidden, end quote, because we don't necessarily know what we're looking at. We don't necessarily know what we see, you know, second house type of shit. So the mutable earth energy of the sun is being applied to the second house more so. That sun is digesting what we need to filter out and process, and what we need to filter out and process, the sun, that filter out and processing system, it's giving you a spotlight on the second house. And what the second house is, it's kind of low-key. It is like it's the surface level motherboard respectively, and that surface level motherboard of the collective beings, they're just in their own placement of data, you know? And as they're in their own placement of data, it's kind of we're just kind of participating with that energy intuitively, the Leo risings respectively, of just like, you know, everybody is gonna everyone is just gonna be in their own place within the matrix system, right? And they're gonna get taken care of how they're gonna get taken care of, where they ultimately land. And and the Leo rising is just embodying the character personality of what it really means to exalt the digestion process of how we filter and process reality, you know? And I skip I think I skipped a house. I did the 12th low key, and this one was just raw. And if you hate on this video, I won't care, you know, because every flow is different. I show up to this shit because I want to show up. And Virgo in the 10th house, it's what's being revealed and processed and filtered of the sun's energies is the spotlight is being shown on where you kind of stand within your family. Like, I feel like Capricorn low-key is the family to business relationship, because low-key the family and the business, they have a low-key connection, because no matter what, when you're growing up in your life, you have to lean towards some type of esoteric system, Capricorn, to take care of your family. So as you need to take care of your family, it might be done in such a way where you're taking care of your family based on you doing some type of, you know, background, you know, systematic work of how there's just a deeper industry of the homeopathic and there's a deeper industry of the health industry, Virgo and Cap. And Virgo and Cap, what is the rising sign of that? I believe it's, okay, 11th house, Aquarius, 12th house, Virgo and Cap. Virgo and Cap, 6, Virgo and Cap, Virgo and Cap. So Virgo in the 10th house. So that would be Libra 11th, Scorpio 12th, Sag rising. Okay, here it is. So Sag rising, yeah. So Virgo in the 10th house, Sag. See that Virgo Sag connection right there. So the Sag rising, that is the embodiment of expansion. So it's expanding, and it's being a unique lifeline for how Virgo pivots in the deeper industry of the health industry, and that deeper health industry could be a life support for higher angelic beings, Sag rising. So excuse me for this very raw presentation, because I know like it wasn't in order, but there was a video I lost a couple days ago, and I went in order, and there was also some insights that were there, but it is what it is, you know. I'm doing it just because like this is where my energy's at, and obviously this could inspire someone else respectively, and this could be like, it could be, you know, processed from a different type of it could be processed for a different type of progression and evolution of just wherever the f we are at right now, you know. So I think I obviously like and let me do Virgo through the 7th house real quick. So well, let me just talk about Libras for a little bit. I think Libras, like, they could find a joy to just be working, you know, to have some type of new revamping, quote unquote, head start, end quote, in just the industry of the amphitheater, right? 7th house being low-key the amphitheater, Saturn exalted in the amphitheater. There could be a joy in working with people and setting up events and working with people, you know. And as you're the mutable earth energy of the sun is filtering that out for the 7th house. So the 7th house is receiving the mutable earth energy of the sun. That digestive energy is being applied to, because Virgo is also like in quote unquote HD, end quote, Virgo is also about, like, you know, finding your tribe low key, you know, finding your mate low key. And as you're finding, and as that is, as the collective society character is leading you to do that, that collective society character of Virgo is shining, that energy is playing out in your feminine 7th house. And you could find that mate in just doing some type of work of event setup, exalted Saturn work, 7th house type of shit. And within that, maybe the 7th house of the amphitheater, it's the experience, a very unique experiment is on go, you know. Obviously, you know, it's on, like, it's like let's go forward type of energy. Let's go forward with you know, how just how, like, on a general level, how, like, two different signs could work together. How two different signs could work together, not necessarily human to human, but it can be human to human. That is the unique experiment itself. And that unique experiment, the 6th house and the Virgo energy, is going to, like, ground that within just you needing to find your place in society. And as you find your place in society first, then on its crazy nuanced paradox, then you could do some fucking woo-woo spiritual work, respectively, end quote. Because, you know, we have to be, like, we can't get too, like, like, you know, out of tune with the reality, you know, because that reality, that's kind of like, it's like the grounding mechanism for, you know, the quote unquote, you know, the metaphysical stuff, end quote. So I think Virgo is kind of like, it could be realistic for us to just, like, take care of what needs to be taken care of. And as you're taking care of what needs to be taken care of, that energy of Virgo through the houses, take care of what you need to take care of, that energy is going to be deposited more so in one of your houses. So you could be taking care of yourself, your embodiment, 1st house Virgo, 2nd house Virgo. You could be taking care of, you know, how you see things, from how your lineage has just gave you a bunch of shit, you know, or it like gave, like, down the line, the 2nd house is like, we're a result of our mother and father and all of our different spiritual families and what they have made as far as the firmware, right? 2nd house, seeing the dashboard. 3rd house Virgo, taking care of what you need to taking care of just how you need to be more of an ambassador, be more brave, be more outspoken within your place in life. 4th house Virgo, taking care of pretty much your home life and your family life. 5th house Virgo, taking care of pretty much your own stage and your own production studio that you need to, like, set, and your individual character is being evolved from that. 6th house Virgo, taking care of more so of or just naturally taking care of how you could be something of a matchmaker, you could be something of like a doctor, or you could be something of just a very unique healer and reporter even. 7th house Virgo, taking care of just studio arrangements or studio work life, not necessarily music, but it can be. And just kind of just, you know, finding the joy in the work of just having 7th house Virgo. 8th house Virgo, taking care of, for the reality in the physical world, right? Just taking care of like how people have their own crazy ass fucking karmic arrangements, Maury shit, type of shit, and, you know, some fucking ludicrous type of shit, some, you know, just all this crazy, you know, some Jada Pinkett type of shit, you know, some like resurrecting type of shit, some Orochimaru type of shit. 9th house Virgo, taking care of, you know, your relationship to the gods respectively, and how the gods could be competitive low-key, and where your story ends up from that crazy fucking story of the gods. 10th house Virgo, taking care of your industry karma and taking care of your occult life respectively. 11th house Virgo, taking care of the paradox of paradoxes and taking care of a particular threshold of the dream world respectively. 12th house Virgo, 11th house being dream body respectively, 12th house being the feminine dream body respectively. 12th house Virgo, taking care of just like how everything else is affecting what you stand on, and how there's different bases for what you stand on, and how there's different bases for what you stand on. You could process that. You could be practical with going towards your fantasies by healing yourself, perhaps in a homeopathic way, perhaps, or for some reason being on the more shadowy side of the coin, you just having dark shit within, you know, this crazy messed up, you know, industry system, and the whole fucking, like, you know, all those names and shit like that. So obviously I'm still kind of like, I feel this is complete for the most part, but obviously there were some key insights that were mentioned in the other one that were there, but this is just what it is. Thank you very much.